From the Clark Athletic Center, it's the first UMass Boston men's basketball home game in 631 days. The Beacons haven't been here at home since a 2020 Little East Conference thrilling quarterfinal victory over Rhode Island College, 89-82 in that one. This is a much different looking team. Just 4 of their 8 rotation players back and 5 total players from that team. They face a Bridgewater State team still looking for their first win since 2020. It's also a very different looking Bridgewater State team who graduated 3 all-conference players, 4 of their 5 starters. Bridgewater State has just 3 players back from their 2019-20 roster, as they have relied heavily this season on Alan Petway, David Lane, and Stanley Pierre-Louis. The Beacons have the benefit of Charlie and Charles Mitchell alongside Malik Lorquette and Tommy Burris to show some of their newcomers the ropes. Let's take a look at the team statistics in this one. Bridgewater State, they're off to a rough start, and a lot of that has been their defense. They've played some excellent competition this year, starting with the UMass Dartmouth team that has a couple wins over nationally ranked teams, and then last weekend playing in an Emmanuel College tournament, losing to both Endicott College and Emmanuel College. Bridgewater, though, 80 points per game allowed thus far. Opponents are averaging 45% from the field, just under 39% from deep on 11.3 made threes per game. And teams have been passing around Bridgewater thus far. 56 of the 64 made field goals against them have resulted in at least 1 assist. And this is basketball, so you can only get 1 assist. My mind is still kind of transitioning from the fall season in soccer where you can pick up multiple assists. I digress. Let's take a look at the team leaders for these two sides. For UMass Boston, in their first 2 games, it's been Charles Mitchell, the Beacon senior out of Boston, Massachusetts. 27 points per game, 25 in the team's opening loss to Babson College, 29, his second most in his collegiate career in a win over Coast Guard Academy 2 Sundays ago. Mitchell also is hitting a robust 52% of his threes. He's one of 3 players tied for the team lead with 6 rebounds, and his brother Charlie Mitchell, his identical twin brother Charlie, leads the Beacons this year with 3.5 assists per game and 5 steals. For Bridgewater State, it's a new face. Camden Dunbury, the freshman center out of Pocasset, Massachusetts, a team-high 16.3 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game, and 3 blocks in over 31 minutes of action. He's been extremely good in his first season. The problem is Alan Petway, their only returning scorer and top returning scorer, has struggled a bit. 10.7 points per game, but he's shooting a career low 26% from the field, just 1 of 12 from deep. He's the guy who's going to get going under head coach Joe Faroba. The question is when, because he's just way too good of a player. Right now we'll look at our matchup to watch. We've already talked a bit about Dunbury, the 6'10", 200 big. On the opposite side, Malik Lorquette is going to try to get going against the much taller player. Lorquette listed at 6'5", 215, the junior out of Sharon, Mass. On the year, he's averaging 9.5 points, 6 rebounds. As a sophomore back in 2019-20, averaged 7.3 points, 7.4 rebounds, and had a team best 51 blocks. Lorquette absolutely feasted the last time these two teams played. Malik in that contest, 16 points, a game high, 18 rebounds. He's one of those players who's almost always going to be the smaller big in the post, but he's got really crafty moves and a very good vertical. We'll see how he deals with Dunbury, who at least will not be in the game to start today, as Joe Faroba has made a couple of changes to his starting lineup. We're going to take a quick commercial break, be back with the starters and the keys to this one. UMass Boston just minutes away from their first home game in almost 2 years.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very
Right now, we're going to take a look at the coaching matchup in this one. First for Bridgewater State, Joe Foroba has been doing a tremendous job at Bridgewater State for a very long time. In his 30th season, 391 and 349. He's led BSU to 7 NCAA tournament appearances. The all-time winningest coach in program history. Led the Bears to the NCAA tournament in 1999, 2006. 9, 10, and 11, 2014 and 18, and a 4-time NASCAC Coach of the Year. We're going to talk about the Beacons head coach. Can't quite see Jason Harris right now on our down low camera as he has his players huddled up around him. Harris, in his 7th season at UMass Boston, 66 and 67. Has not been over 500 since the Beacons were 3-2 in his first year. Large part of that, they finished the season 6-19. But he has done a great job over the past couple seasons. 4 straight winning seasons, the first time that's happened in program history, including a 16-11 mark in 2019-20. They tied the program record with a 9-7 mark in conference to earn the 4 seed. The 9 wins tied for the most in Beacons program history. Take a look at the Bridgewater State starters for this one. As you see, Jason Harris and Joe Foroba meet right at half court. You guys are very familiar with each other. The two sides have met in each of the past 35 seasons, including in each of their first 5 seasons together. You see the starters for Bridgewater State. David Lane, the senior guard out of Bourne, Massachusetts. One of 3 returners on this team, averages a team-high 3 assists per game. Quentin Champagne, the freshman guard out of Rentham, Massachusetts. He's making his first collegiate start, averaged 4 points per game and 3 rebounds per game in the team's first 3 contests. Jordan Wetterland, the grad student guard out of Twig, Maine, started his career at Division III University of Wisconsin Superior, where he played 1 year of basketball and 2 years of tennis. Hasn't played basketball since 2016-17, but enrolled at Bridgewater State, and he's making his 4th appearance and first start of the season. Alan Petway, we talked a bit more about him. Leading returning scorer, lone returning starter. Off to a slow start offensively, 10.7 points per game, second on the team, 3.7 rebounds per game, but has not been able to find his scoring touch. Finally, Stanley Pierre Lewis, junior forward out of Roxbury, Mass., a local product out of Cathedral High School. He is making his 4th start, 2.7 points, 2.3 rebounds per game. Have the Beacon starters introduce themselves as we are just seconds away at this point from tip-off. Bridgewater State out on the floor. They'll go from right to left in this first half. They're wearing their road reds with the red shorts, the white numbers, and black trim. UMass Boston in their home whites with the tealish blue numbers and the trim down the sides of the shorts. As I mentioned, Camden Dunbury not in the starting lineup. He had started each of the team's first 3 games. He and Keith Key not in the starting lineup today as Joe Foroba mixing things up. Maybe just bringing a little bit more offense off the bench, as we'll see Pierre Lewis and Lorquette jump, and it's easily won by Lorquette all the way back to Charlie Mitchell, and we're underway. 4 of the 5 in the starting lineup were on the team in 2019-20. Stevie DiGregorio is the lone newbie as Tommy Burris takes a tray, a little bit short. Lorquette keeps it alive, and the Beacons get a new 20. Lorquette, who missed most of the second half due to an injury in that 2019-20 season. He and Charlie Mitchell were banged up as Charlie a little bit off the mark. Burris keeps it alive, and it's eventually grabbed by David Lane. Lane, one of a number of Bridgewater State players from the Cape and the surrounding area. It's Bridgewater State a little bit further south than UMass Boston. Good take, but a little bit too strong from Pierre Lewis, and we've got our first foul of the game. So Malik Lorquette is whistled just 51 seconds in. Our refs for this one: TJ Barrow is our head ref, Kevin Boudelier and Bruce Anderson working as part of this 3-man crew, as the first free throw is up and good from Pierre Lewis, who is 2 for 4 in the season from the charity stripe coming in. And he goes 1 for 2 here. Bridgewater State looking for their first win of the season. UMass Boston looking to get a win in their home opener. Lorquette struggles with the handle. Triple team, finds it. Burris, extra pass for Charlie Mitchell. He's the ball handler and guy who likes going down low, as Charlie a little bit off the mark there. His twin brother, Charles, is the shooting guard. Absolutely loves shooting from distance. Near side, Alan Petway being guarded by DiGregorio. Once again, Pierre Lewis looking to clear out space for Wetterland. Passes down low, working with it there is Champagne. The extra pass for Lane. 3 on the shot clock. Lane, the floater, in and out. Good rebound from Champagne, who goes up, blocked by Burris. A second time blocked, and it's kicked out. Beacons have a 2v2. Charles Mitchell right into a pair of players, and it's out off Bridgewater State. 18-10 to go in the first half. Beacons still scoreless, trailing 1-0. DiGregorio, who went off for 19 points in a Beacons exhibition tie at Nichols College, as Charles Mitchell pulls up from the elbow, and the Beacons have their first home points of the campaign. These two, Charlie and Charles, electing to come back, waited a year to graduate so that they could play a 4th season with the Beacons. Lane pushes it over for Champagne. Freshman out of Rentham has his pocket picked. Charlie has Charles trailing. He'll keep it himself, and it's back-to-back baskets from the Mitchell twins, and the Beacons have a 4-1 lead. Beacons team has been all about defense under Jason Harris. Back in 2019-20, they were one of the best defenses in the country. 10th in field goal defense and 25th in scoring defense. DiGregorio for Charles Mitchell. The Mitchells are on a 6-0 run, and Joe Faroba is going to use his timeout when Bridgewater State gets across half court. A slow start, but a quick little run thanks to some turnovers, and just like that, it is 6-1 UMass Boston. We've got our first timeout, first stoppage of the game. We'll take a timeout along with the teams and be back as UMass Boston leads at 6-1.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Paris changed my life.
Same group of 5 for either side here out of the timeout. Step back 2, and Petway knocks it down. Good sign for the Worcester, Mass native who attended the McDuffie School. Shot 37% as a junior, but just 26% to start this senior year. Charles Mitchell realized he's going to be blocked, stayed up, and shot as well at the mark. Petway again goes into Burris and draws the foul. Second on the Beacons, first on Burris. And Petway will have a chance to get this to within a 1-point game. Petway on the year, the one thing he's done a great job of is get to the free throw line. Shooting a team best 90% and 9 of 10 is second best on the team, behind only Dunbury, who, again, on the bench, already has his warm-up off, but we have yet to see the 6'10" freshman center. The rebound is battled for, controlled by St. Louis, can't finish, and Burris pulls down the rebound. 6-4 Beacons lead after 3 straight points from Petway. Burris takes the deep three, too strong, and another rebound for Bridgewater State. This time it's Lane. Near side, Champagne toes the sideline, and Bridgewater will set up. It's Lane, who's had 4 assists in each of the team's past 2 games, running the offense. Played 38 of the 40 minutes on day 2 of the Emmanuel College tournament in the loss to the host. Great pass down low, and Champagne is blocked. 2-on-1 break. It's Charlie to Charles, and 1. Charles never caught the ball, but I think he kneed it into the basket, and he's having himself a good laugh about that. We'll see Dunbury check on. Had started each of the team's first 3 games, had averaged 31 minutes per game. We've got immediate timeout. Out of the timeout, we'll come back with that highlight as the Beacons doubling up Bridgewater State 8-4.
Life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations.
Take a look at that highlight one more time. Charlie to Charles. He never caught that ball. He wasn't even close. But the contact and just throwing it up worked out. Charles Mitchell, chance to make it a 3-point play. 9 of 14 on the year, make it 10 of 15. Up to 66%. He's never been a great free throw shooter, but he's one of the top 3-point shooters in program history. His brother Charlie tips that away. DiGregorio in transition finds Charles in and out, and Dunbury has the rebound go off of him. The Beacons made a change out of the timeout. Malik Lorquette takes a seat, and Ike Alua, the freshman forward out of Princeton, New Jersey, 6'3", 175, making his 3rd collegiate appearance. Checks on for the first time here at the Clark. That pass almost out of the reach of Burris. Alua, who's giving up 7 inches to Dunbury, is the nominal 5 in this lineup for the Beacons. I'm sure he'll get some help from Burris and others. 7 on the shot clock. Charles Mitchell around his screen into the corner for Alua, and Dunbury gets a piece of it. Beacons will have 1 on the shot clock. It's impressive from Dunbury to get all the way out there and make that block. 1 second on the shot clock. Beacons are really going to have to hurry here. Charlie to Charles, gets it off in time, too strong, long rebound. Burris keeps it alive, and the Beacons get another new 20. Alua looks to go to work on Dunbury. Big block. Rebounds loose, and it's Lane with it. Long pass. Charlie Mitchell and Dunbury go up for it. We've got a foul on Burris on what could have been a travel there. It looked like a couple of steps. But Camden Dunbury has been in this game for 2 possessions and has 2 blocks and is now heading to the free throw line. It looked like Charlie Mitchell was easily going to intercept that pass, and Dunbury, all 6'10" of him, went up and made the play. Dunbury, too strong on the first. On the season, 13 of 15, 86.7%. The Beacons will go even smaller. Bobby Joy, sophomore guard out of Harwich, Mass, stands at 5'10". He's on for the first time today. In 2 games, has played 23 minutes, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Beacons essentially have 4 guards and the undersized forward, Alua. Charles Mitchell couldn't handle that one. Lane in transition, Petway to his left. Instead, he goes the other way, and it's Andrew McKinney, sophomore forward out of Norfolk, Massachusetts, who scored 8 points in his first 2 collegiate appearances. Lorquette is back up. You can see their lead cut to 3. DiGregorio for Joy. Extra pass for Charlie Mitchell with 14 on the shot clock. Working on Lane. Pulls up from the elbow. Front rim no good. And Dunbury just reaches out with those extendo arms and able to come up with a rebound. Lane with heavy pressure coming from Charlie Mitchell, and he comes up with a steal. Charlie all alone, the easy layup. His brother Charles Mitchell was the LEC Defensive Player of the Year in 2019-20. But Charlie's always been just as good, if not better, as he dives to the floor trying to come out with a steal. Charles nearly has the interception. Instead, it's McKinney, another lay-in. Into the corner. Charlie the pull-up, 2 and 1. Contact from McKinney as he tried to catch up. And UMass Boston, playing at a blistering pace here in the early going, has a chance to make it in a 12-8 lead. Lorquette will replace Alua. For Bridgewater State, Tyler Uemura is on for the first time. He replaces David Lane. And Emmanuel Zayas, Beacons freshman guard out of Hollywood, Florida, will check on for Charlie Mitchell if he hits this free throw. Well short, bounces around, and Charlie has the rebound. Uemura trying to come up with a steal. Near side, Charles Mitchell met by Petway. DiGregorio wide open in the corner. Way too strong. Airmailed that. In transition, Dunbury wanted it, and Mitchell stepped in front of the pass. UMass Boston leads by 5. And now we'll see our matchup to watch for the first time. It's Dunbury met by the Beacons' biggest big man, Lorquette at 6'5". They also have James Hughes out of Melbourne, Australia, 6'5", transfer out of the College of Siskiyous. Uemura with Joy, giving him a bit of space. 7 on the shot clock. McKinney drives on DiGregorio. Out top for Dunbury, fakes the 3 with 2. McKinney takes the 3 right in front of the Beacons bench and nails it. Andrew McKinney already with the career-high 7 points. Just knocked down his first collegiate 3. And the deficit is just 2 for Bridgewater State. Got an offensive foul on the Beacons. Is it DiGregorio or Lorquette? If it's Lorquette, it's 2. Instead, it's going to be Emmanuel Zayas. His first. 4th on the Beacons as DiGregorio will take a seat. And the Beacons are going big. Simon Pureau. First time we've seen freshman center out of Dallas, Texas here at home. 6'7", 210. Makes his second collegiate appearance. Played 3 minutes against Coast Guard. Finished 1 for 1 with 2 points. So Pureau will play Dunbury. And it's Lorquette who's going to help off the ball and play against McKinney. Another offensive rebound for Bridgewater State. Petway, the step back 3, well off the mark. And the Beacons will get it back just seconds away from our media timeout here. Lorquette and Dunbury were tangled up right next to one of the referees who separates the two. Zayas, Joy, Pureau, Lorquette, and Charles Mitchell. Pureau for Lorquette, right back out for Joy. Thought about the 3, got held up there a bit. Lorquette now looks to drive on Dunbury. The up and under and a 3rd block already for Dunbury minutes. Uemura goes the length, over Charles Mitchell, couldn't finish. Rebound kicked out. Wide open. McKinney wants another one, and he drills it. Bridgewater State, their first lead of the game as Andrew McKinney's got 10. Came in with a career high of 6 in the team's opener against UMass Dartmouth. Mitchell for Joy, out for Zayas, takes a deep three. He got knocked down. McKinney the rebound. They had Uemura leaking out. Couldn't handle it. Full court pressure from the Beacons. Uemura deep for Dunbury. And we've got a turnover there on Dunbury, who stepped out of bounds after what looked like a push from Zayas. But when you're giving up a foot, sometimes that benefits you. We'll take a timeout along with the teams. It's Bridgewater State, their first lead of the night. Bears leading at 14-13.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Joe Faroba huddling up his team, off to a good start. You can see in the background, this is a big crowd. It was a decent-sized crowd for the women's basketball game. It is a big crowd. Not near capacity quite yet here on the fan section, but certainly larger than we've seen at any point during the fall for the volleyball team, and honestly comparable for what we saw this weekend for Alumni Day for the men's hockey team. A couple hundred fans out here for the first men's basketball home game since the 2019-20 season, the first basketball doubleheader as well. It's a 1-point Beacons deficit. Charlie Mitchell back on alongside Charles Mitchell, Stevie DiGregorio, Malik Lorquette, and Tommy Burris, the starting 5 for the Beacons. Bridgewater State has a couple of bench players out there, including Dunbury. Lorquette is called for the offensive foul after turning it over. That's 2 on Malik. And with just about half of the first half to go, Lorquette in some serious foul trouble. 2 of the Beacons' first 5. Malik Brooms replaces Tommy Burris. Brooms, another player out of the city, freshman shooting guard out of Roxbury, Mass., who took a PG year, played at the Hyde School in Maine, making his 3rd appearance of the season in 15 minutes, has 9 points and 5 rebounds. Working with it here is Jabray Griffin, one of a pair of players out of Dean College, transferred to Bridgewater State. Dunbury wants a 3, front rim no good, and Brooms with the rebound. Malik, just like Stanley Pierre-Louis, played at Cathedral High School here in the city. Charles Mitchell over Dunbury. Brooms had the rebound. It bounces out for Charles Mitchell, the high floater. And that's how someone who's listed at 5'10" beats someone who's just under 7 feet. Got to use every tool in your arsenal. The Beacons regain the lead, 15-14, midway through the half. Another steal. Charlie Mitchell has been dynamic defensively, and he's got himself an easy layup as the Beacons will stay in full court pressure. Alex Gonzalez, the freshman guard out of Peabody, Mass., who attended Bishop Fenwick High School, manning the point right now with McKinney, Uemura, Dunbury, and Griffin. To the corner, McKinney, the step back, bit too strong after a red-hot start. He's got 10 of the team's first 14. Charles Mitchell, the contested 3, rattles in. Alua awaits to check in for the Beacons. Lane for Bridgewater State as the Beacons have tied their largest lead at 6, and another turnover off the full court pressure. Mitchell, no hand in his face. He's going to take it front rim and over the basket. Out of bounds for Bridgewater ball. Alua is going to replace Charles Mitchell, so they'll keep Lorquette on there with 2 fouls. He was walking over as if he was coming off. And for Bridgewater, Lane is going to come on McLean's going to come on for McKinney, and now Lorquette will come off. He'll be replaced by Zayas. So Lorquette was right. He was coming off. Just a little bit of a mix-up for whom. Dunbury up top against the smaller Alua, but Dunbury's one of those bigs who seems to spend a lot of time along the three-point line. Double team comes, Alua triple teamed, and we're going to get a push in the back on Alua. 16 fouls, so one more, and Bridgewater will be shooting the 1-and-1. First foul on Ike, one of a pair of newcomers for the Beacons out of the state of New Jersey. Corner three from Gonzalez, well short, and Dunbury or Griffin is going to be called for the foul. I think it's going to be on Griffin because he immediately was debating the call with the ref. Third team foul on Bridgewater State. Beacons get it back, already leading by 6. It's been their defense that has gotten them off to this lead. A lot of steals, especially well away from the basket, that have led to easy transition buckets. DiGregorio back out for Zayas. 11 on the shot clock as they pull Dunbury away from the hoop. Zayas looks to drive, kicks for DiGregorio from the backside, and he tried to catch and shoot all in one motion. Had a little bit more time than I think he knew. Three from the corner is off the mark, and the long rebound bounces into the Beacons bench off the miss from Champagne. Griffin checks off. Wetterland, the starter out of Twig, Minnesota, back on. Camden Dunbury is making a nuisance of himself if you're a UMass Boston fan defensively, but it's not gotten going offensively. Here's Charles Mitchell drawing the foul, and he'll head to the line for 2 more. Some contact on the way in. He's going to have 2 free throws, but that'll be after the media timeout. We'll take a break, and then we'll look around the rest of Beaconville as all of our winter sports, with the exception of track and field, already underway here in mid-November.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
The well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Quick look around the rest of Beaconville. Women's basketball suffered a tough 62-56 loss to WPI. The women's hockey team will be at home this weekend. William Smith on Friday, Elmira College on Saturday, and the men's hockey team, back in the national rankings for the first time in 2 years, will host Hobart College. Back to live action. Charles Mitchell hits the first. Has 2 free throws after the 14th foul against Bridgewater State, and Charles knocks down both to give the Beacons an 8-point advantage. Full court pressure in effect for UMass Boston. This is where they've been at their best. Pressure the ball, don't let Bridgewater State get into their half-court offense. Champagne with Dunbury trying to find himself in a good spot. 3 is deep, and Zayas will track it down. Bridgewater State's coaches were just screaming, give it to him, as Dunbury was open. Brooms for Alua. Alua takes the mid 10 to 14 foot jumper a little bit too strong, and it's out on Zayas. And the Beacons have all 5 players at half court or in the backcourt. Wetterland easily breaks the pressure. Champagne drives all the way to the hoop, in and out and in to cut the deficit to 22-16. Puro and Charlie Mitchell waiting to check on for UMass Boston as Brooms looks to drive. Brooms just a little bit short there as he had to alter his shot with Dunbury lurking. Champaign goes right into a Beacon, but first, a little bit of a reach in, and this will lead to the 1-1. It'll be the second foul on Alua, who joins Lorquette with 2 fouls. Beacon's making 3 changes. Alua, Zayas, and Brooms to the bench. 4 of the 5 starters out there. Puro replaces Lorquette. Joined out there with DiGregorio, Burris, Charlie, and Charles Mitchell. Champaign hits the front end of the 1-1. His first free throw attempt of the season. And the second for the freshman guard out of Bridgewater Raynham Regional High School. The Bears on a 4-0 run to cut this deficit in half. Burris from straight away, a little bit off the mark, hasn't found the shooting touch thus far. Tommy, a very good 3-point shooter who hit a massive 3 against Holy Cross back in 2019 as part of the Beacons win in an exhibition game against the Division I Crusaders. Near side, it's Petway. Right now, Bridgewater State has all 5 of their starters back out there. And a turnover as Lane tried to find Dunbury, who was locked up in a battle with Puro. Simon has an impressive resume out of Shelton School, where he played basketball and lacrosse. All district/district MVP and earned the All-State Award as a senior in basketball. He's also a 2-time All-State lacrosse player and will play for head coach Tyler Lowe in the spring, the reigning LEC champions. DiGregorio tries to find Puro, and it's thrown away, a little bit low for the big fella. 5:50 to go in the first half. Beacons lead by 4 as Lane whips it across for Champaign. One way to break a full court press, just throw a bullet pass across. Puro, heavy contact. Dunbury grabs his own miss and adds 2 more. Joe Faroba and Bridgewater State been a little bit unhappy with some of the physicality not called against the Beacons. Mitchell for DiGregorio going downhill right into the body of Dunbury. Big block, but also contact down low, and that'll lead to 2 free throws. It's honestly the best way that you can challenge a player that much bigger than you. Draw the contact. Doesn't matter what he does to the ball. It's going to be 2 free throws every time, and that's 2 now on Dunbury. 5th on the Bears as DiGregorio short on the first. Stevie on the year, 3 of 6 from the free throw line, averaging just under 10 points a game. Attended Marlboro High School, where he played wide receiver on the football team and a 2-time team MVP on the basketball team. Sends the lead to 3. Uemura back on for Lane, and Dunbury sits as well. Beacons get another turnover. Charlie for Charles, and Wetterlin the steal. Good job getting back. Bridgewater State's coaches screaming out for their motion offense. First time today we've seen Alvin Chukwueze, and the Bears turn it over. Chukwueze, sophomore out of Attleboro, Massachusetts, who's played just 5 minutes all season. Bridgewater State already shooting the 1-1. The Beacons 2 fouls away. Brooms, Puro, Charlie and Charles Mitchell, and DiGregorio. It's Charlie Mitchell all the way. Draws a little bit of contact there, looking for the charge on Wetterlin. And now we've got a stoppage. I think we're going to get a loose ball foul on Wetterlin there. I didn't see anything. It's going to stay with Bridgewater State. No team foul has been assessed, but they did say Wetterland's name. Was the official on the near side, and Bridgewater State couldn't believe it. Out ahead, it's Uemura who breaks the press. And now Uemura looks to get downhill. That was an easy kick call against the Beacons. Uemura, very slippery. He's got very good handles. He was trying to dish that off to Chikwueze. Champagne needs to get it in time and does so, finds Petway. 4:25 to go in the half, 20 on the shot clock. Bridgewater State has led once. It was by a single point. Beacons have led by as many as 8. Step back 3 from Petway. Knocks it down and just, they're going to give him a long 2. That was very close. Charlie for Charles with Petway going step for step. The screen comes from Cureau. Charles tries to find Di Gregorio, nearly turned it over. Out top for Pierrot with 10. Charlie Mitchell pulls up from 6 feet, off the mark. Good rebound from Brooms, goes right back up. And a strong finish from another Boston native. Beacons drop their pressure a bit this time as Petway allowed to get across the half-court line. Chikwueze for Wetterland and Uemura. Got an offensive foul away from the ball. It's Alvin Chikwueze, his first, team 6th. Got a media timeout. Final media of the first half. It's the Beacons leading by 3 here from the Clark Athletic Center.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
UMass Boston ball out of our final media timeout. A huge difference in this game has been turnovers. 7 for Bridgewater State, just 3 for UMass Boston. The Beacons have used that to go out to an 8-2 lead in points off of turnovers. They've all been easy layups. Charlie Mitchell has really feasted. Charlie has 8. Charles has 12 for the Beacons. 20 of UMass Boston's first 25. Malik Brooms, one of the few other players who scored thus far. He just had a putback. Charlie, Charles, Gregorio, Joy, and Brooms right now. 5 essentially guards. Brooms from straight away, a line drive 3. And the lead is back out to 6. It's been as many as 8. Lane is sent back to the scorer's table for Bridgewater State. One of those 3 returners for the Bears. Wetterland working against Joy, looks to drive, gets help from Brooms. He'll pull up anyway, off the glass. Nice little finish from the man who is more recently a tennis player than a college basketball player. Played 2 seasons with University of Wisconsin Superior. Brooms, same exact shot. His 3 is a bit too strong this time off the back iron. Charlie Mitchell meets Uemura in the backcourt. Bridgewater State just has not looked comfortable offensively. McKinney, though, has. He's been their team's leading scorer. Pass dish off for Wetterland. Looks to get over the smaller Di Gregorio. Gets his own rebound. Goes up again over Brooms this time and can't get the bounce. (28-24). UMass Boston has led most of the way. Charles Mitchell, a glancing blow off the rim. Looked pretty good out of his hand. Champagne right into Brooms. Got help from Charles Mitchell, and it's an N1 opportunity. I think they're going to get Charles coming over, and it's a chance for Bridgewater State to get back within one with 96 seconds left in the half. It will be Charles Mitchell's first. 8th on the Beacon, so 2 more free throws, and the Bears will be shooting the double bonus. For UMass Boston, they've gotten 6 fouls against Bridgewater State as the free throw's long. McKinney comes down with the rebound. Wetterland has it knocked out of his hands, and he'll stay with Bridgewater State. Chance to potentially retake the lead or at least tie it. Lane, Wetterland, Gonzalez. That one's knocked out of the hands of McKinney and Champagne. 16 left on the shot clock after the missed free throw after the made basket. Couldn't convert on the N1. A chance to make this a 4 or even 5-point possession. Lane with 6 on the shot clock. Into the corner. Finds Gonzalez. Drives. Huge block from Brooms. Long outlet pass. Charles Mitchell pulls it down. Had to high point that one with 2 Bears there. Brooms for Charlie Mitchell. 1:05 to go in the half. 20 on the shot clock. Charlie kicks for Brooms. Has already hit 1-3 off the mark on a second. Charles Mitchell grabs the rebound and knocks it home. 4-point Beacon's lead. See how many possessions we get left as Champagne nearly loses it. And instead he'll be shooting the 1-and-1 after a Beacon's reach it. It's the first on Charlie Mitchell. And it'll be a 1-and-1 here for Champagne, who just missed a single free throw on an N1 opportunity. Knocks down the first one here. Champagne again did not have a free throw in the team's first 3 games. Knocks them both down. It's a 2-point Beacon's lead. 40 seconds to go in the half. About 16-second difference between shot clock and game clock. No playing for a 2-for-1 here. Charlie for DiGregorio has to keep his footing. Right back for Mitchell in the corner with 10. Charlie clears out space. Baseline jumper too strong. Lane the rebound. And the shot clock's turned off here with 20 seconds to go. That's an offensive foul on Wetterland every time. Threw out the hip. Thought he was going to get away with it. No chance. And the Beacons will get the ball back. It won't result in free throws. It's honestly a benefit for the Beacons as they can now play for the last shot. Wetterland thought he was being maybe cheeky or could get away with it, but clearly extended the right leg. With that foul, though, the Beacons will be shooting free throws if there is a foul now. Charles Mitchell takes it out towards half court with Alex Gonzalez following him. 9 seconds left. Down to 7. DiGregorio offers the screen with 5. Mitchell goes to work. Mitchell to the hoop, kicks it out. Offensive foul on the Beacons. Won't result in free throws as Charles picks up his second. And with 0.5 seconds left, Bridgewater State will have a chance to heave. McKinney wants it across half court. We'll see where Wetterland goes. He does find McKinney and won't even get a shot up. UMass Boston leads it 30-28 at the break. We'll take a commercial break and be back with an interview with head coach Jason Harris in moments.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
The well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Head coach Jason Harris. Coach, you were at your most effective when you were actually able to turn them over, get some easy fast break points. What have you seen out of your defense thus far against the Bridgewater team that is still trying to find their own identity on offense?
We got to be better with our offense, Seth. Our offense is leading to their offense. It's putting too much pressure on our defense. Our rebounding. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. We got a lot of stuff we got to clean up here, Seth. I think it's some nerves. I think it's new guys. We got to work through it. Bridgewater's a good team. They're much better than their record. Yeah, we got to get better. We got to clean it up. Firing too many threes, too many one-and-dones, too many possessions, pounding it, not reversing it. So we'll work on it.
631 days means 631 days since they've been in this environment. Is that also playing a part with a huge home crowd, hoping for big plays? Maybe they're trying to put on a little bit of a show?
Maybe. I mean, human nature, sure, I guess, whatever you want to call it. We've been playing, so we played games in front of a packed crowd, maybe not in front of familiar faces. A lot of new guys playing at home for the first time. We kind of expected this. Hopefully we can settle down and get back to playing Beacon basketball and be fast on offense and slow and methodical and physical on defense.
Coach, good luck in the second half. Right now we'll take a look at another interview with head coach Jason Harris. He talks about next weekend's Black Coaches Classic as the Beacons will host Brandeis, Leslie, and Tufts in the first ever Black Coaches Classic with all four schools led by Black head coaches.
A little frustrated at times when we were assistant coaches with, kind of the lack of advancement and the stigmas that were being placed on us as, only a recruiter, things of those sorts. So, kind of came out of that, I think, with conversations. And I think like everybody, I spent a long time and a lot of hours on Zoom with a lot of conversation and access to coaches that I probably wouldn't have had in a normal year. I think the event would have been important 18 years ago. I think the event is important now. I think with everything going on, I think it's important. We've read all those statements of support, all these athletic departments and coaches and schools. So I think now it's time. I work in an extremely supportive athletic department with a extremely supportive chancellor whose vision is crystal clear. I think the guys that I worked along with to get the event done, Leslie, Brandeis, and Tufts, I think those guys deserve a ton of credit for just kind of saying yes to a blanket idea with not many details yet, and just with the understanding that we'll figure those things out later. It took a lot of guts from those guys kind of from the beginning. So I hope that we can have more faces on the television. So I hope that more kids now that they're younger, they're watching the game, they're mesmerized by the faces on TV the way I was mesmerized by John Thompson, John Chaney, Nolan Richardson, Doc Rivers. those guys, and even following for Charlie Titus, right? So I want young kids now to look over on the bench and see like, hey, that guy's in charge of a billion-dollar corporation, the Celtics. That guy's in charge of the world-renowned university, Tufts, Brandeis. That guy went back and played for his alma mater, and now he's, the head coach there, Leslie. So, that's what I want from it. I want other people to take things from it. I just want to be able to give. In addition to highlighting the contributions of coaches of color, it's going to be really good basketball. I think we have the potential to have a top 10 team, a top 25 team, a local program that's on the upstart with a young coach, and I think it's going to be really good basketball. So I think that's important as well. So I want all student athletes, not just our student athletes, to be comfortable with seeing positions of power being filled with men and women of color. I think it's important that they see that message early on. Some of our student athletes will be hiring people, and they may not have ever had a black head coach, and so this may be their only experience with it while they're here at UMass Boston. So just for them to take a second look when they're hiring in the future, or whatever it may be, whether they're on a board or a committee, or they're going for a job, or they have friends, or I just want other people to be able to take from that. Well, they say that you hire people that look like you. So I think that brings a whole nother issue where we need more representation in athletic departments as well, and I think that's important. So I think that's another topic, man. We could hit on that. We could have a Black Administrators Classic, and I certainly think that it all falls under the contributions of people of color to the game of basketball and college athletics in general. I think this event could spread to the Division I level, the Division II level. I think we should be able to tie women's basketball in. I know women's basketball has the same plight as well. So the more the merrier. Everybody's welcome.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Drives on DiGregorio. Out top for Dunbury, fakes the three with two. McKinney takes the three right in front of the 3 minutes to go before the start of the second half. We just saw the highlights from the first half. Let's look at the statistics thus far. Neither team has shot it especially well. Bridgewater State 10 of 27. The Beacons at 12 of 38. UMass Boston just 2 of 14 from distance. Bridgewater State at 2 of 6. The Beacons 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Bridgewater State at 6 for 11. The big difference has been the turnovers. That's why the Beacons have a 2-point advantage. UMass Boston has turned these 12 Bridgewater State turnovers into 11 points versus just 4 for Bridgewater State off of 6 Beacons turnovers. The Beacons also only down 3 in the rebounding battle, which is pretty good against a team as tall as Bridgewater State can be. Let's take a look at our team leaders through the first 20 minutes. For UMass Boston, Charles Mitchell has a game-high 16 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. His brother Charlie has 8 in 16 minutes of action, also has a team-high and game-high 4 steals and 3 assists. Malik Brooms has 5 points. The only other player to score is Stevie DiGregorio for UMass Boston. For Bridgewater, Andrew McKinney had an early 10 for the Bears. He's 4 of 5 from the field. Quinton Champagne's got 8, including 4 of 5 from the free throw line, and Alan Petway has 5 points. Haven't seen a ton of Camden Dunbury, just 10 minutes and 21 minutes, 10-21 of action. 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, does have 3 emphatic dunks. As we move along in our halftime show, let's take a look around the rest of Beaconville. No updates from the last time. The women's basketball team still looking for their first win of the year, a tough 62-56 loss in which they were competitive the whole way. Women's hockey hosts William Smith and number 5 Elmira College this weekend. Men's hockey ranked 15th in the nation. They'll take on number 6 Hobart College on Friday night at 7 before traveling to Elmira College on Saturday. A look around the rest of the conference. There's a couple games going on. Eastern Connecticut State picks up a big win over Springfield College, 73-70. Castleton, a tough 4-point loss to Russell Sage College, 72-68. Finally, let's look ahead for UMass Boston. Beacons will be in action this Saturday at Colby Sawyer College, and then a week from Saturday, they will host nationally ranked Brandeis University at 7:30 p.m. in game number 2 of the Black Coaches Classic. In game 1, Leslie will take on Tufts. 20 seconds to go before the start of half number 2. UMass Boston has led pretty much the entire way. Bridgewater led by 1 point, and they have led for 2 minutes and 41 seconds of the first half. The Beacons have led for 16 minutes and 28 seconds thus far. Bears with the ball out of the half. It will be Wetterland, Champagne, Lane, Dunbury, and Petway. So Dunbury gets the start over Stanley Pierre-Louis, who did not play much in that first half despite getting the start. Charlie and Charles Mitchell out there for the second half, and it'll be Charlie who's called for the reach-in, his second, team's first. Charlie and Charles Mitchell, Stevie DiGregorio, Malik Lorquette, and Tommy Burris, same starting five for UMass Boston. Wetterlin inbounds and finds Petway. Allen looking to get around the screen of Dunbury. Tries to go back for the big man, and Malik Lorquette gets a hand in and breaks it up. In transition, it's Charlie Mitchell to the corner for Burris. Out top, wide open, DiGregorio in and out as he still looks for his first basket at home in his collegiate career. Near side, Champagne. Little bit of a bounce, a hop, and a travel before he could throw up a three from the near wing. The Beacons' defense was good in that first half, forcing 12 turnovers. Their offensive efficiency not quite as good. They scored just 32 points against the Bridgewater State team that averages giving up 80 a game, and Dunbury frustrated his third foul as he caught a piece of Lorquette, who will get a pair of free throws. Malik, the junior out of Sharon, Mass., who is in foul trouble of his own with 2 first-half fouls. 55.6% on the year. 5 of 9. His 9 attempts are second best on the team. Misses the first. Lorquette held scoreless in that first half. No points, 1 rebound in 8 minutes and 48 seconds. Well short on the second, so a fruitless trip that time for the Beacons. And with those 3 fouls, Pierre Lewis is now at the scorer's table, likely to replace Dunbury, who couldn't make the catch on the entry pass. Dunbury will take the 3, too strong, and it's rebounded by Charlie Mitchell, and that might be in his arsenal, but it feels like a win for UMass Boston every time Dunbury is taking a shot outside of the paint. Mitchell with Lane coming out well beyond the three-point line to defend him. Charlie with it for Lorquette, looking to get a 4th potentially on Dunbury. Here's Charles, draws contact, a little bit of a head pump to emphasize the contact, and Petway said, "What did I do?" Petway's first, second on Bridgewater State. It should lead to more free throws as Charles Mitchell was clutching his back after the play. Charles, perfect 3 of 3 from the free throw line. And make it 3 for 4. Pierre Lewis will replace Dunbury. It's always been a bit of a struggle for Mitchell from the free throw line. With his 16 points, he's now up to 1,164 for his career, moving into 8th place in program history, passing Robert White, class of 1984 alum. So in his first 3 games of his senior season, he's gone from 11th to 10th to 9th and to 8th, moving up at least 1 spot in each of his first 3 games. It'll be a little bit harder going forward. It's Lane from the corner. Tries to find St. Louis. Ball still loose. Burris tried to get the tie up, and it'll go as a shot clock violation. So the Beacons get the ball and do not give up the possession arrow. You look up at the all-time scoring list. Charles Mitchell next will have to catch Carl Joseph, a 2015 grad, who has 1,238 points. So Mitchell not likely to do that against Colby Sawyer this weekend. He's got a ways to go to catch the top 5. Mitchell for his brother Charlie with 12. Lorquette double team. Burris wide open in front of the Beacons bench. In and out again. DiGregorio, good rebound. Here comes Charles Mitchell all the way to the hoop. The little floater. And another bucket for Mitchell, who's up to 18. He's had at least 25 in each of the Beacons' first 2 games. Good take from Petway. And an emphatic block from Lorquette. Charles kicks it out for Charlie. Back for Charles, wants 3, well short. Rebound for Petway, and a smart move by Charlie Mitchell to step in front of Petway, give the foul, and avoid the fast break. It's 3 on Charlie, who will be replaced by Bobby Joy. Petway with it. Across for Champaign, Lane, and now Wetterland. Wetterland downhill. Lorquette looking for another big block. Dished off for McKinney over Lorquette. And Bridgewater, their first points of the second half to get back within 3. 33-30, UMass Boston leads as we close in on our first media timeout of the second half. Charles Mitchell for Burris, wants Lorquette. Lorquette doubled, goes up anyway, misses it. Battle for the rebound off of Wetterland, and he'll stay with the Beacon. Shot clock reverts to 20. 16:23 to go in regulation. The Beacons look for their third straight win over the Bears. Joy needs help, finds Burris. Burris had a couple good looks from 3, but hasn't been able to knock any of them down. DiGregorio swings it for Lorquette, thought about the extra pass, 10 on the shot clock. Mitchell can't get any space. It's Lorquette, wants to go downhill, and we've got a reach-in foul. Beacons will get a new 20. That's already 3 team fouls on Bridgewater State. It'll be the second on Andrew McKinney, who had the hot hand early on in the first half for Bridgewater. Charles Mitchell operating in front of his own bench, double teamed. For Burris, Lorquette has Petway a bit of a mismatch. No real big in there for Bridgewater as they front Lorquette. Joy goes downhill, back out for Charles Mitchell. The 3 is up, in and out. Champaign the rebound. A good look for Charles Mitchell, just couldn't quite knock it down. Champaign from deep, way too strong. Rebound almost came all the way out for Petway. Wetterland grabbed it. Got a foul on Charles Mitchell as he fought for position against McKinney. Going to be 3 on both Mitchells. An immediate timeout with 15:37 to go in regulation. We'll take a timeout with the teams. It's UMass Boston 33, Bridgewater State 30 early on in the second half.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The University of Massachusetts.
Sluggish start to the second half for both sides. UMass Boston outscoring Bridgewater State 3-2 in what has been a low-scoring affair. 33-30 UMass Boston as we're nearly 25 minutes in. Bridgewater State ball out of the timeout. Lane for Petway. A little bit too strong. Wetterland stripped by DiGregorio. The Beacons defense has certainly been their strength. Joy in transition for Lorquette and the bucket. Great look from Bobby Joy, who's been really good off the bench this season as a ball handler. Sophomore out of Harwich, Mass. Great look from Champaign to answer. Wow, I said a sluggish start. It certainly hasn't been sluggish out of the media. It's Malik Rooms awaits the check on. He had 5 off the bench in the first half. DiGregorio bullies his way to the basket. He's got 2. His first made basket at the Clark Athletic Center for a underclassmen the Beacons are really high on. Charlie and Charles Mitchell said he's the guy who can kind of fill that Michael Boyd role. As we've got a foul on Malik Lorquette. It's Lorquette's third, so all of a sudden 3 on Charlie and Charles Mitchell along with Lorquette. Still 14:45 to play. Both Mitchells acknowledged he's not going to be Boyd right away, but he can certainly be that third ball handling option, scorer. out of the backcourt as McKinney's first is too strong. Brooms will replace Lorquette, and the Beacons can afford to go small with Dunbury on the bench with 3. But honestly, if I'm Joe Faroba, I might bring Dunbury right back on and hope that he can take advantage of this smaller unit as there's a fight for the rebound. It's out of bounds off the Beacons. Brooms and Wetterlin were battling there. Brooms was clearly out of bounds, but Wetterlin went out first, and if he had any piece of the ball at that point, I think the ball should be going the other way. That's just my take, as DiGregorio was trying to slow down Champaign on the inbound, but no one was inbounding it, and now he will inbound and almost throws it out. Petway had to go up. 15 on the shot clock. Petway all the way across for Champaign as McKinney took a spill. Champaign front rim, no good on the 3. DiGregorio running with joy, has to slow it down. DiGregorio really one of the Beacons' better options right now as he goes up over Wetterland. He and Charles Mitchell, probably the most established scorers. That says something about DiGregorio in just his 3rd collegiate game. Another missed 3. The Beacons all of a sudden out to a 7-point advantage. Their largest lead is 8 today. Dunbury heads to the scorer's table. Joy, the step back 3, knocks it down. Bobby Joy bringing out some life to the Clark Athletic Center. A nice pass that led to 2 points in transition. A triple from the corner. His 2nd collegiate 3. And the Beacons lead by 9. Lane with 12 on the shot clock for Champaign, has a step on Brooms, throws it up, and he gets the foul. So 2 free throws upcoming for Quentin Champaign, who's making his first collegiate start. First foul on Stevie DiGregorio, but the 5th on the Beacons as Champaign gets the first to rattle in. Dunbury in for Wetterland, and right now the tallest Beacon is probably Burris, who's listed at 6'4", 190. Champaign makes a pair. Jason Harris looks over to his bench and his assistant coaches. Do we make a change? We saw Simon Pureau play well off the bench. They also have James Hughes, who we've yet to see play here in his first home game as a Beacon. Joy around the screen into the corner for Brooms. Already hit 1 3, knocks down another. Malik Brooms, the Cathedral High School product. Spent a year at a PG school in Maine, has looked good. Brooms gets Dunbury to start. Kicked into the corner, wide open. Champaign front rim, no good. Charles Mitchell, the rebound, has Joy leaking out. Joy with the right hand. You can tell he played football, and he gets the foul. Bobby Joy made that look very easy on the great pass from Charles Mitchell. And just like that, it's 46-34 Beacons. The Beacons have already scored more than half the points they put up in the first half. Here, probably in a 5-minute span of the second half. Still 12:46 to go in regulation. We've got a timeout. We'll take it with the teams. It's UMass Boston leading by a dozen with the free throw to come.
Massachusetts, Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Bobby Joy, the Nauset Regional High School product, who played basketball and football, 3-time All-League in both sports. heads to the free throw line for the first time tonight. 2 for 2 on the season. Had 7 points in 23 minutes of the Babson Invitational. Already got 6 here in the second half today, and the Beacons have their largest lead of the game at 47-34. And another steal for Joy. Goes straight to the basket, another and one. It's the Bobby Joy Show. A casual pass there for Bridgewater State, and Joy, who hit a triple, an N1, and now another N1, is going off. That's the third foul on Alan Petway, and Joy has a chance to reach 10 points, I think, on the last 4 possessions. It's a 16-point Beacons advantage out of nowhere, and now the pressure on Bridgewater State. They've got Uemura out there with Dunbury, Petway, Griffin, and Gonzalez. Gonzalez with it on the near side as the Beacons stay small. Burris at 6'4", giving up 6 inches to Dunbury. Petway wants Dunbury, but the Beacons are doing a good job of fronting him. Petway, the contested long 2 in and out. Brooms the rebound, but we're going to get a loose ball foul on Burris, who's doing everything he can to keep Dunbury away from the rebound. Third on Burris, who becomes the 4th Beacon starter with 3 fouls. And that's the 6th on the Beacons. So free throws coming for Bridgewater State. But first, it's Joy with the steal going again. No foul this time, but 2 more points. I think most people here at the Clark did not know who Bobby Joy was coming into this game. They're going to after this performance. He has been dynamic, not only offensively, but a couple of huge steals, and the lead is 18. Gonzalez from the corner, and he knocks down a triple to stop the bleeding, but with that, it's a 15-point game. Beacons never led by more than 8 in the first half. 52-37, 11:35 to go in regulation. Charles Mitchell tries to go off glass. Malik Brooms couldn't quite handle it, and Uemura has the rebound. Out ahead for Dunbury. Burris, the smart foul. No continuation, will be a 1-and-1. But Tommy does pick up his 4th foul, and you've got to take him out with this much time left. Media timeout, and the Beacons will have some time to think about it. All of a sudden, it is a 15-point Beacon lead in front of this very large home crowd at the first home game here at the Clark Athletic Center, at least for the men's team, since February 25th, 2020. We'll take a break in the action. It's UMass Boston 52, Bridgewater State 37.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Bobby Joy has 10 points here in the second half alone. Let's show you a couple of his highlights. He has been feasting a couple of N1s, a triple. He's done a great job as Dunbury has 2 free throws. We'll show you a couple of Joy highlights after this first one. Camden Dunbury is unable to make it, and we'll wait for the next stoppage. We promise you we'll have some Bobby Joy highlights. Here's Joy with it. He's been running the offense with Charlie Mitchell out with 3 fouls. Lorquette replaces Burris, who just picked up his 4th, as Joy turns it over. Gonzalez looking to feed it down low. Goes off the foot of Joy. The Beacons get possession into the corner. Charles Mitchell kicks it over for Brooms, who wants a 3rd 3 of the game. No good. DeGregorio the rebound. Joy a deep 3. Wow. This is impressive, and many fans were out of their seats as Bobby Joy hits his second three. He's got 13. Pass down low, wide open. Griffin is blocked from behind, and Dunbury is blocked from behind. Loose ball, and we've got a foul on Brooms. I think it's going to be Brooms. Maybe Dunbury. No, it's going to be on Dunbury. 6th foul on Bridgewater State. Really quickly, let's take a look at Joy, who's just been so good. That was one of his steals. As we return to live action, that's the 4th foul on Dunbury. So he joins Burris with 4 fouls. He'll stay out there at least for this possession. Charles Mitchell drives, lots of contact, no call, and now they're going to call it travel. Weird, because there was definitely some hip-to-hip contact there. Beacons were hoping for a play on. Instead, they turn it over. We'll get some full court pressure as Petway will replace Lane, and Joe Faroba is going to trust his freshman center. 4 fouls on Camden Dunbury, but down by 18. He's just hoping that Dunbury can help them pull off the comeback. Huey Mora picks up the dribble, finds Petway, and another block from Lorquette. Lorquette's got a couple blocks here in the last couple possessions. DiGregorio downhill all the way to the hoop, and he knocks it down. Stevie DiGregorio goes amongst the trees, a left-hand lay-in, and the lead is 20. Beacon's bench is huddling up behind Jason Harris. He's assisted by Adam Blake, Dennis Orlena, Corey McCarthy. And right now that group is calling up some plays. McCarthy, a new addition to the Beacons bench here in 2021-22, was the head coach at New Mission. Led the team to 2 state titles while Charlie and Charles Mitchell were Titans. Beacons have a 3rd player from New Mission High School, Nathan Lee, on the roster, but Lee has not appeared in today's game. Charlie Mitchell replaces his brother Charles, and Huey Mora with the near steal. Ends up staying inbounds, 12 on the shot clock. Charlie Mitchell jukes the player out of his shoes, pulls up, leaves it for Lorquette, who can't finish. DiGregorio the rebound, and he'll get the 2. Things have gone downhill swiftly for Bridgewater State here in the second half. Gonzalez is short, and Brooms the rebound. Part of it is the Beacons are rebounding better, but it's also their defensive intensity has really risen to the occasion. Champagne is back at the scorer's table. He's probably been the team's best offensive player here in the second half. We've got a little bit of a foul on Huey Mora. That will be his first, team 7th, and we'll see Charlie Mitchell head to the line for the front end of a 1-and-1. 17 fouls for either side. Charlie 2 of 3 from the free throw line coming in. Shot 77.8% as a junior, and his first is too strong. Brooms, though, keeps it alive, but he was out of bounds as he saved it to Wetterland. Just over 8.5 minutes to play in what has been an impressive second half for the Beacons. Slow start, but it's been all UMass Boston over the last 7 to 10 minutes as Petway is unable to convert, and Brooms another rebound. It's nice for this Beacons team. They have 4 returners from the 2019-20 team that finished 4th in the LEC. But the guys who have stood out here in the second half, Bobby Joy, Malik Brooms, Stevie DiGregorio, all new faces on this Beacons team. DiGregorio with the left hand this time. Didn't score a basket in the first half, just 1 point. He's gone off here in the second alongside Joy. Wetterland spins, gets up and over Lorquette, and finishes on a little bit of a spinorama there. Beacons will casually bring the ball up this time as Simon Pureau heads to the scorer's table. The lead is 22 after it was just a point at the first media time out here in the second half. DiGregorio just gets one step, kicks it all the way over for Brooms, and he knocks down another three. I don't even think DiGregorio was looking for Brooms that time, but his little scoop pass ends up all the way beyond the three-point line. The lead is 24, and Bridgewater State will use a timeout to force the media. One final media left. It is all UMass Boston, 63-39. We're not going to take a commercial. We're just going to play some highlights from this thrilling second half run that has been all UMass Boston. Out of the timeout, Bridgewater State with the ball. Beacons keeping that full court pressure on Dunbury, makes the catch, working against Puro. Puro the foul, and it'll lead to 2 free throws. Simon Puro, not small at 6'7", but only listed at 210. Camden Dunbury, 6 foot, listed at 200. Both of these guys in their first collegiate season. Probably going to be working with their strength and conditioning athletic performance coaches on adding a little bit of muscle mass so they can really body guys around down low. Joy gets a seat and a lot of high fives after playing extremely well. Dunbury knocks them both down, playing with those 4 fouls. 18 foul on the Beacons. Mitchell, Puro, DiGregorio, and Brooms. Puro from straight away to the corner for Brooms, and Brooms was out of bounds. Rare turnover for UMass Boston, who forced 12 of them in the first half and only committed 6. Bridgewater down by 22. They need a big run and soon, as Puro grabbed a little bit of the back there of Dunbury, and he gives up another foul. 9th on the Beacon, so this will be the final 1-and-1 of the night for Bridgewater State. For Puro, that's his 2nd in a row and 2nd overall. Dunbury's first, rattles in and out. Grabbed, though, by Wetterland, and he has it stripped by DiGregorio. So an empty possession for Bridgewater State. DiGregorio all the way to the hoop. Left-hand lay-in, no good, but you can see DiGregorio is really growing in confidence here in the second half. As anytime he's got a lane to the basket, he's aggressively going downhill. Dunbury wants it. Wetterland trying to find him. DiGregorio in his face. And another foul on Puro, who can't believe it. Puro shouting at his bench, "Coach, what's going on?" And we will see James Hughes, the junior transfer out of Melbourne, Australia, 6'6", 200, who attended Box Hill Secondary College, where he played basketball, men's netball, and Australian Football League. Spent his first 2 years at the College of Siskiyous, which is in very northern California, about an hour away from the border with Oregon. In his sophomore season, 22 appearances, 15 starts, averaged just over 2 points and 1 rebound a game. Dunbury hits 1 of 2. The nice thing about Hughes, if you're a Beacons fan, 6'6", 200, another big body. Hughes, comfortable handling the ball away from the basket. Charles Mitchell with it, around another Hughes screen. He'll pull up from deep and rattles it in. Charles has not had to get as offensively involved in this one, but is up to 19 points. Dunbury called for the travel. Charles came in averaging 27 points per game, 25 in the opener, 29 against Coast Guard, already up into 8th place in program history for career points after opening the year with 1,094 as Charlie gets around the bigger Dunbury and a nice right-hand finish. This was a very close game through the first 16 minutes. Ever since, it's been all UMass Boston. Petway, an acrobatic finish that rattles out. Hughes taps the rebound out to Charlie Mitchell for Charles, who draws contact and one. I feel bad there for Tyler Uemura because there's very little he can do. Charles Mitchell purposely stopping, leaning back to get a little bit of contact, initiating the contact, quite honestly, and getting the foul, but it's enough to draw the foul, and Charles will get one and knock it down. The lead is 28. That's as large as it's been, as Charles Mitchell's above 20 for the third straight game. Give him 22. Great backdoor cut from Champagne in the finish. This is a season high for UMass Boston in points, with 70 thus far. Still 4:55 to go. Charlie Mitchell kicks. He had Brooms and Charles there. Charles grabs and catches and finishes. So just like that, we said he might not get to 25. He's on 25 on the dot. Needs 2 more to match his season average. Champagne caught up in the air. The pass comes all the way out. Charles Mitchell, the steal, has Brooms up ahead. Tries to find him. Uemura gives a bit of contact. Mitchell from the corner, and he's a little bit off the mark. Hughes kept it alive, and it's out off of UMass Boston. Alvin Chikwueze checks back on. Saw Chikwueze for a couple minutes in the first half. Joy replaces Charlie Mitchell, and Zayas replaces Charles Mitchell. Might be it for the Mitchell twins today with a 29-point lead and 4:13 to go. Second foul on DiGregorio, 10th on the Beacon, so it'll be 2 free throws the rest of the way as McKinney heads to the line. McKinney, a little bit short on the first for the sophomore out of King Philip Regional High School. Got a career-high double digits today after scoring just 8 points in his first 2 collegiate performances. UMass Boston will go deeper in the bench. Looks like Mikey Walsh, the sophomore guard out of Marshfield, Mass, waiting to check on his Joy. A little bit deep on the long 2. Uemura in transition, and Chikwueze is blocked by Hughes. DiGregorio flips it over for Zayas. Can they go right back? They do, and the up and under is off the mark, and now a foul by DiGregorio. Got caught up in the back of Uemura. Our final media timeout of the day has hit. We'll take a break with the teams and be back with the conclusion of today's non-conference doubleheader here from the Clark. It's UMass Boston 73, Bridgewater State 45 here in the Little East Conference Network.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, so, and UMass helped me.
The University of
Tyler Uemura to the line for 2. First one rattles out. Uemura get to attempt a free throw in his first 3 appearances. Freshman guard out of Kersey, Colorado, misses both. And the nice thing, if you're Beacon's big man, James Hughes' family out in Australia is, you don't have to stay up late to watch this game. An 8 o'clock start. It was a noon tip-off on the east coast of Australia. So while 9:45, 10 o'clock might seem a little bit late for some people on the East Coast, could be lunchtime. It'll be 1-1 here for Emmanuel Zayas. Actually, it's going to be 2 free throws as Zayas knocks down the first. And we'll see first appearance here at the Clark from Bryson Henry. In fact, the collegiate debut from freshman forward Bryson Henry out of Franklin, New Jersey. 6'4", 160, who attended Franklin Township High School where he played basketball and soccer. Zayas no good on the second. The lead is back to 29, as large as it's been. This was a close game through the first 25 minutes, but the Beacons turned up the pressure, started hitting some threes, and went on a big run as that's thrown away by McKinney. UMass Boston will go deeper into the bench. We'll see Ike Alua, who played a little bit in the first half, but has not played much since. He'll replace Bobby Joy. So it's Hughes, Mikey Walsh, the sophomore guard out of Marshfield, Mass., who attended Marshfield High School, was an Atlantic Coast League All-Star, played 2 minutes against Coast Guard, along with Hughes, Alua, Henry, and Zayas. Zayas running the point. The Beacons have the luxury of having 4 or 5 guys who can run the point right now. Both Mitchells, Joy, Zayas, and even DiGregorio in a pinch, and Hughes will draw the foul on Chikwese, his second, team's 10th, so it'll be 2 free throws coming for James Hughes, who is 1 for 2 on the season from the free throw line. First one's too strong. Gonzalez back on for Yui Mora for Bridgewater State. Second one from Hughes is nothing but net. So 2 of 4 now from the year, and the Beacons lead as large as it's been at 75-45. Into the corner. First time today we've seen Caden Christensen, the freshman forward out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. The jumper's too strong from McKinney, and Walsh grabs the rebound. I didn't know much about Las Cruces. It's actually the second largest city in the state of New Mexico. Zayas goes into the body of Chikwese, and he's called for the travel. Beacons have played most of their available players. Only 2 guys in uniform today have yet to play. Sean Goss and Noah Dyan. Have not seen Nathan Lee tonight. Might not be available. Might be a little banged up. The loose ball goes out off the Beacons. Still 2:14 to play, and while this might seem like garbage time in a 30-point game, this is a great chance for some of these Beacons and Bears this early in the season to prove that, yeah, Coach, I'm ready for a bit more time, as the 3 is up and a bit short there out of the hands of Benjamin Vital, junior forward out of Carver, Mass., who spent his freshman year at Dean College, a local Division III school. And just as I say that, Noah Dayan takes off his warm-up, and he'll look to check in at the next whistle. Alua for Zayas. Hughes coming over to give the screen. Zayas keeps it to the corner. Alua wanted the 3. Instead, he takes the long 2. Bit too strong, and Hughes grabs the rebound. Bryson Henry thought about it. Extra pass for Alua, and he's blocked from behind, but there's a foul on Christensen. Rather, Vital. Really unselfish pass there from Henry, who's making his collegiate debut. Wanted the 3, instead made the extra pass, and it was Alua, the beneficiary, as Ike will have a pair of free throws. Went 1 for 4 in that Babson Invitational from the charity stripe. Alua's first rattles in and out, as it'll be Dayan to check in for Emmanuel Zayas. Dayan making his collegiate debut, sophomore guard out of Rockwell, Texas. 6'1", 160, who attended Montverde Academy in Florida. Alua goes 1 of 2. The lead is 31 with 90 seconds to play. McKinney knocks down a 3. I think that's his first points since about 8 minutes into the first half when he scored 10 of the team's first 14. Looked like he had a chance to go off for a huge night. It's still a career best, but still likely in the teens. Henry, the crossover blocked by Chikwese. It's a decent move there by Henry, but maybe a bit too excited as Chikwese can't make the catch and will go back to Beacon's way. Under a minute to play. Been all UMass Boston after the game was tight at halftime and even tight through the first immediate time out of the second half. Beacon's moving to 2-1, Bridgewater State to 0-4. Dayan now running the point over for Walsh. Walsh around the screen of Hughes, over for Alua. And Alua stripped, but knocks it away. Dayan battling, and we've got a jump ball. It'll stay with the Beacons. 32.9 to go. The shot clock reversed to 20, so the Beacons will either need to shoot or just give it over to the referees. Noah Dayan hands it off for Walsh. And Walsh takes a deep 3 and knocks it down. The entire bench jumping up and down. The first collegiate points for Mikey Walsh. Coming the other way, Gonzalez goes right into Alua, and they'll give the blocking foul. So 2 free throws upcoming, but that was probably the most excitement we've seen out of the Beacons bench all game long. And that's what you love to see out of a good team and a good team culture, as all of the starters, everybody on the bench, showing a ton of emotion for Walsh's first collegiate points. Pretty deep 3. And you love to see your starters and your older guys engaged when some of the young guns are playing for the first time or first time at home. As both free throws are off, no reason to shoot here. Beacons just have to get it across midcourt. And UMass Boston, an emphatic 79-48 victory in their first home game in 631 days. Beacons able to use a big second half run to defeat the Bears. Stick with us. We'll have an interview with head coach Jason Harris. And we'll take a look at the highlights and wrap it up from the Clark, as it's UMass Boston winning by 31 here in their first home game in 631 days.
Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools
is the fact that a large percentage of students.
Joined by head coach Jason Harris. You weren't happy at halftime. I'm sure there's a lot of things you're going to want to correct before this Saturday. But let's talk about a second half where you were able to pull away emphatically. What did Bobby Joy bring to the table?
He brought a little bit of energy, obviously. Bobby's a really good kid, really solid. He's been having great practices. You know, everybody on the bench has confidence in him when he goes in there. So Bobby definitely gave us a spark. With so many young guys, we're constantly preaching, hey, tonight might not be your night. It might be tomorrow night. You always got to be ready. And that's a prime example right there, just being ready. He didn't play a ton in the first half after playing more in the first 2 games. And, you know, Bobby was ready. So, you know, we just stuck with him a little longer. And Charlie's such a good super senior and a team player. And you look down at Charlie, he's like, Coach, let him rock, man. He's cooking right now. So, you know, credit to Charlie, too.
It seemed like the energy came from your younger guys who kind of broke out a little bit in that second half. It wasn't just Bobby. We saw Stevie get a lot of baskets where he was going downhill, and Malik Brooms really seemed confident. You have a great 4 guys back, your core from 2019-20, but what have you seen about some of these younger guys kind of growing into roles or maybe showing that they could be a rotation guy?
You know, the funny thing about young guys is, you know, when they come here, they think they know what they are. Then like 3 weeks later, they have no idea what they are. And so the whole time you're trying to groom them and push them to what you think that they should be. And, you know, Malik and some of those guys are doing a great job of from day one to now, like doing what we're asking them to do, and they're seeing more success, you know, and they're playing more because of it. So as long as I keep buying in, you know, those guys are going to keep contributing and keep helping. And I told them at the end of the year, we got to have the 14th guy in the, you know, on the roster. He's got to be able to check into the game. And right now we're only about 8 deep, you know, so we're trying to work on number 9 and 10 and getting those guys ready to play as well.
Coach, you're back in action on Saturday at Colby Sawyer. What are some things you're going to work on heading into that one, knowing that you've got Thanksgiving and the Black Coaches Classic next week?
Just going to watch film. We're going to thank God that we survived tonight. You know, we're going to get back at it tomorrow, and we're going to start working on Colby Sawyer. Just try to stay in the moment, Seth, you know, after the last 600 days and just everything that everybody's been through globally. You know, we're really trying to stay in the moment and 10 toes down and just, you know, we're trying to just get better from Bridgewater and get ready for Colby. That's where we'll be. I'll be up there in the office. Come see me.
Congratulations, Coach, on the victory. Take a look at the highlights right now and then wrap it up here from the Clark as the Beacons win their first home game in 631 days, 79-48. DeGregorio, really one of the Beacons. Taking a look at the final score, UMass Boston shooting much better in that second half. How about a 57.6% mark in the second half, 4 of 10 from distance, also 7 of 14 from the free throw line. They control every offensive category, including rebounds. UMass Boston was, I think, -3 in the first half, +6 in the second half. The turnovers, a huge difference in this game. Bridgewater, 24 turnovers. UMass Boston held a 31-4 edge in points off turnovers. That's the game right there, folks. We saw a ton of turnovers leading to Beacon's points in the second half. UMass Boston outscored the Bears 49-20 in that second half alone. Let's take a look at our team leaders. Well, there's a lot of Beacons to spotlight. 27 from Charles Mitchell, who matches his season average. But how about 13 from Bobby Joy, a new career high. 10 from Malik Brooms, also a career high. Charlie Mitchell chipped in 10. Stevie DiGregorio chipped in 11. 5 Beacons in double figures. For Bridgewater State, a career best 16 from Andrew McKinney, 14 from Quentin Champagne, and the 6'10" big that the Beacons were worried about. Well, Camden Dunbury did damage, but it was limited to 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks. A good job by the Beacons getting him in foul trouble, frustrating him as he picked up 4 fouls and was limited to just 20 minutes and 54 seconds of action after averaging over 31 in his team's first 3 games. Let's take a quick look ahead for UMass Boston. They will be at Colby Sawyer on Saturday, a chance for head coach Jason Harris to go back above 500 for the first time since his first season. And then they will take on Brandeis University, currently nationally ranked, hopefully nationally ranked next week, when the Beacons play Brandeis in Game 2 of the Black Coaches Classic. Leslie and nationally ranked Tufts set the square off at 5:30 p.m. Finally, a shout out to our production crew working both ends of tonight's doubleheader, doing a great job. Allie Crawford was your producer. Nicholas Branch directing alongside Nicholas Suma and Hilly Rodriguez. Elsa Vanaco, Jackson Slider, Lauren Bethea, and Danny Colazzo, your camera operators. For myself, Seth Orensky,